to Andrew Desiderio, senior congressional reporter for Punchbowl News. Again, an unexpected result, sort of an establishment strikes back. What's the significance of this, do you think, going forward?
Well, look, Republicans were certainly hoping to be able to run against Francesca Hong. The Republican nominee for governor in that race is Congressman Tom Tiffany, and they were openly talking about it as such. And I think it just further underscores and highlights some of the polling misses we've seen so far throughout these primaries. I mean, just look at the Michigan Senate race, for example. Abdul El-Sayed was up by around 10 points according to the polling average. He only ended up winning by a few points. And so, you know, we have to, I think, take a lot of these polls going forward with a grain of salt, especially when there's so much fervor surrounding this moderate versus progressive fight that's ongoing within the Democratic Party.
Look, it's also possible that David Crowley closed the gap substantially the last few days when there was much more national focus on this race. I want to talk about your area of expertise.
Absolutely.
I want to hone in on Connecticut here, if I can. Scroll up and look at the House races here, because there was an incumbent to go down. John Larson, right here, who's been in Congress since, what, 1999? He was defeated by Luke Bronin. Tell me about the significance of another Democratic incumbent going down in a primary.
Well, this is the 7th House Democrat to lose a primary this cycle, and it was another example of the sort of generational change that we're seeing from Democratic voters, from the Democratic base, a desire for that generational change. John Larson has been in office since, as you mentioned, 1999. There have been questions surrounding his health as well. He had a freezing incident on the House floor, actually, that was similar to what we saw from Mitch McConnell. He froze up, essentially, as he was in the middle of speaking. And Luke Bronin and other Democrats who were looking for that generational change used that and other health issues that John Larson has had over the years to try to oust him from office.
And one other notable thing here, this was not close. This was a blowout, so a challenger defeating an incumbent. One more race I want to point out here. Again, your area of expertise. Want to go down to South Carolina, the special primary there to long-term replace the seat held by Lindsey Graham, the deceased senator. His sister is currently serving in a temporary role. The first two people progress here. You can see Darlene Graham did lead the field, but just at 32% of the vote. She and Ralph Norman now progress to a runoff. The significance of that?
Well, look, I think this is going to be a major test of the sort of value of the Trump endorsement going forward. Usually it's the golden ticket in a Republican primary, especially in a red state like South Carolina. But Ralph Norman is someone who has those House Freedom Caucus bona fides, and he's someone who has been running for governor for the past year as well. Of course, he didn't win the nomination for governor, but he's someone who's been on the airwaves for a long time in South Carolina. He is a MAGA conservative, and President Trump even acknowledged that last night when he was asked by reporters about it as he came off of Air Force One. And he also essentially said, I thought this was really fascinating, John. He said that he only really endorsed her because of her brother, Lindsey Graham. And a lot of Senate Republicans, I've been told, believe that it was kind of careless on the part of the president to push her into this race, knowing that she was, of course, grieving the death of her brother, and also just the fact that folks didn't know much about her. And so this is going to be a really interesting runoff. It's only a 2-week runoff, and the president indicated that he's going to go campaign for her. So we'll see if he can overcome all of that.
Yeah, this will be a race, or could very well be a race over the next 2 weeks. And I will note, she is technically an incumbent in the sense that she is currently the sitting senator. She has the same name. Obviously, last name is Lindsey Graham. Just 32% of the vote in the elections last night. Andrew Desiderio, thank you so much for being with us. Much more to come here and in other races still in this primary season. Sarah?